right, from RuneScape to Robots in Disguise. Nick, Transformers Universe, what is it?
Okay, so Transformers Universe is, as we've sort of seen recently, a massively online tactical action game. Nearly went with the battle arena there, didn't I? Okay, so basically this is because we're a blend of a load of elements from games that people will know. So we've got a little bit of League of Legends in there, as far as we've got a huge raft of bots which people can pick from. They're all unique, they're all different, they've got their own personalities and abilities, but we've also got the MMO elements in there as well, as far as our sort of ranging player versus AI experience as well. And then if you sort of look at the footage of the game, it kind of looks and feels, at first glance, maybe a little bit shootery. It isn't. But, you get in there and you realise that, whilst I've got, this giant robot with a big minigun sticking out of the front of him, I've also got a load of, really nice abilities with cooldowns and buffs and things like that, which sort of lead very much back into the sort of, into the MOBA and MMO genre as well. So that's where that sort of taglines come from. So it's a lot of things, but I think we've taken the really good things out of a couple of those games and applied them into something that's really compelling for Transformers Universe. Okay,
so talk us through sort of gameplay-wise. You pick a bot, you group up with a couple of friends, you go into battle, you fight AI, you also fight other players?
Sure. So, it depends what you want to do from a player point of view. So, obviously, from RuneScape, we've learned that, you've got the PvP areas which are popular, but you've also got a huge swathes of people that just want to sort of kick back and have some social space or go and, have some player versus AI or some grinding, for resources and things like that. So we've got those elements in the game. So you can head out into the outer base if you want, either with a friend or several friends or by yourself, just to do some of that sort of more social, sort of, I'm calling it sort of lean back experience, where you're not sort of edge of your seat, sort of hands shaking after every engagement, sort of adrenaline rush. But then we've got also the PvP side of things as well, is what we're or what I personally think is a really strong element for the game. So that's essentially as you describe. You come in, you hit the battle map or hit the ground bridge, which is a cool bit of Autobot technology they developed, where it basically allows them to spit warriors out to any area on the planet, and then that you can spit out into that game either with a bunch of friends, or you can go into matchmaking and it'll put you with people of a similar skill level. And then, at the moment, as far as the stuff that you guys have seen, we're looking at some really nice, tight tactical combat, where it's really important to stay in your teams, sort of small teams of players. Really important to stay as a team and pick up the different roles as well. So we've got healers and tanks and DPS specialists and glass cannons and all the usual sort of archetypes that you'd expect to find in this sort of, or those sorts of genres that I mentioned before. But we've also got a load of hybrid archetypes as well, which kind of combines sort of elements of tank or DPS into a single class, which sort of expands our normal roster out from sort of 5 or 6 archetypes into 12, which is the amount of classes we have in the game.
How many people per team?
Okay, so it depends on the game mode. If you're out into the sort of the outer base, then you can just be upwards of sort of 10, 15 people. As far as the tight PvP arena-based combat is concerned, and that's lower. So the one that you saw is a 4v4 match, which I think is a nice size. You don't get that's where the most tactical element of it comes in. But then we've also got a load of other game modes in the works that will be coming out throughout sort of the open beta and later on, which expand upon that. So that's going up from 4, and we'll leave it there. We'll leave it for a later time.
Okay, well, what about progression system? As we saw, with each bot has specific weapons that sort of tie into their class. Is the progression system in upgrading weapons? How does it work?
Okay, so as far as the progression system is concerned, you've got the overall commander of your hangar of bots. That's the position that you're taking up. So it's your commander that progresses, and then as you're progressing through the game, you start unlocking abilities that can be applied across all the bots. So you're looking at things like stat points, which allows you to tweak whatever the base stats of each of the warriors are. You're looking at stuff which unlocks slots for power cores, which is a really powerful ability tweak, or things that add additional passive abilities to a bot that very situational, which might give you an extra amount of critical damage. If you've just taken more than 50% health damage or something like that. It's sort of really situational stuff. But again, because the bots are so unique. In between themselves, what you actually end up with is, because there's so many power cores, you can choose different ones to actually really augment the powers of that particular bot. And then, so whilst we've crafted, the abilities and things like that, you have, quite a large amount of customization to really change, one Sparkscape to another one that just plays completely differently. So.
With the transformations, obviously now that's getting you from one side of the map to the other. Are you guys incorporating any, I know we can't really touch upon modes right now, but in terms of the locations and creating the world, you creating the world to adapt to the fact that these guys will spend a lot of the time in vehicular form?
Sure. So I think if you have a look at the outer base, which is sort of a large ranging space, then there's an awful lot of areas in that which are not close to each other. So there's this huge amount of sort of driving around, and we appreciate that the driving is fun as just in and of itself. It's just fun driving around. The handling models for all the different vehicles are quite different. So there's that, which is the kind of free range area. There's nothing precluding putting different game modes out there with driving as a focus, and that will certainly bleed into a lot of our bigger maps, which are coming later on, that you guys will be seeing in a bit. But as far as the smaller engagement areas are concerned, then it's not only about getting into the battle quickly, but it's also your escape mechanic and also chasing down people. I think there's a really strong play to be had as far as getting somebody down, they bug out, and then chasing after them, and then you've got a specific vehicle weapon, which again ties into the class, and vehicle equipment as well, which you can use to either stop people chasing you or lock them down so they can't get away, and then you've also got sort of a few other abilities which will be getting revealed in the next couple of months.
Well, we've talked a lot about the bots themselves, but I want to talk about the location. Certainly we saw one during the match today. In terms of iterating the design of these maps, I mean, how have you guys went about it?
Okay, so we've had a few areas that have been sort of signposted for a little while. So I think there's been a few bits out which have sort of shown a lot of the North American locations, or a few of the North American locations. But the good thing about sticking with the sort of the North America location for now, obviously it's a universe. We've got 5, 10, hopefully more years to come of this. So we start small in a reasonably contained area and branch out from there. But America at the moment provides us a really good base for for things like the Santa Fe map, which you saw today, which is sort of Caribbean island, looking a bit sort of dishevelled and deserted, but also sun bleached. And then you've got sort of Rocky Mountains, sort of snowy areas, and Colorado, sort of dry mountains, with fir trees and stuff all over the place. So there's also, you'll see them coming, city maps and urban environments as well, which you'll be seeing in the next couple of months over the various reveals that we do. So,
well, originally, as far as I understand, this was mainly supposed to be drawn from the sort of Prime version of Transformers, and now has sort of expanded into the Generation style. I mean, and there's brand new Transformers that you guys are creating for this. How does it feel to basically be creating an entire subgenre of Transformers, an entire universe?
Well, from my point of view, it's actually like getting on for being giddy, exciting, massive. Basically, I'm a massive Transformers nerd. So coming down to Jagex and working on this, obviously, I didn't know what we were going to be sort of getting into at the time, but just actually being able to create these guys who are, they're not just, they're not just automatons. They're not just something that, you pick and hasn't got any personality. These guys have all got their own separate VO and backstories, and, really have got some serious personality. And we've been working really hard with Hasbro on that. So, working on these guys and actually adding to Transformers lore is a big deal for us, for everybody on the team. It's really cool.
I'm going to say that. I mean, there's established universes out there. There's established storylines out there that have, like you said, you've got a universe to play with. It's not just a planet. It's just not Earth. Does that mean that you guys effectively can take inspiration from the entire, 30 years or something like that of Transformers lore to pick from?
Yeah, so there's 30 years of Transformers out there, as you said. We've got, was it 11,000-ish Transformers created thus far, not including the ones that we're creating. And obviously throughout all of those, we're scouring through, all of the Transformers comics and, and movies, or the old movies, and and all the cartoons and things. So there's so many locations that we want. Basically you've got the battle map at the moment. It's on North America at the moment, but we're all looking forward to the day then we can expand that out, start hitting other planets and stuff. But obviously we need lots of people to come in and play the beta, expand out into the game, and make sure that we can carry on development out to expand that out, and then hopefully we can bring everybody the true universe that they really want.
Saying about that, drawing inspiration from comics and films and stuff like that, and you emphasize old movies. I'm assuming Michael Bay's off limits.
I think as far as Michael Bay is concerned, we're not that. But at the same time, everything's Transformers. There's a reason why Michael Bay has made 3 movies, right? And that's because he's made something that everybody enjoys, or a lot of people enjoy. There's always inspiration to be taken, positively or negatively, from all over the place. Hopefully we're just crafting what the fans want, and the longer we go on, the more the fans can tell us what they want, and hopefully we'll be able to build it for them.
You say that about a wide spread of people. I mean, that's the great thing about Transformers, is that multi-generational thing that very few franchises, very few established brands have. This is being a game. I mean, you sort of mentioned in a previous interview there about sort of you guys are looking like 13-year-olds up. So is there less pressure in making a game that can be played literally by any age group, or is it actually harder to try and instill something that is accessible to a younger audience yet will be enjoyable to an older market?
Sure. So I think this is something that we're sort of concentrating really hard on, because it's if you widen the spectrum too much, you can just be in danger of making something that's a little bit watery and doesn't really appeal to anyone. I think we've done a really good job of making the game easy to pick up. So for most people, we're expecting big fans of Transformers who aren't necessarily gamers to want to come in and see what Transformers universe is all about. We're needing them to be able to jump in and have fun driving around, and have fun in the sort of the player versus AI areas, and just experiencing the Transformers universe. But then as far as digging into it is concerned, once you sort of move over into the sort of the harder engagements and learning the bots is absolutely crucial. You can run in, you can shoot your miniguns and your SMGs and your plasma rifles or whatever it is, and you can have fun doing that. But then all of these abilities very much tie into a huge depth in the combat, which is there. It's it is a complex game at its heart. It's fun to pick up and play, but there is genuine levels of skill which I don't possess. For many bots, there's a big slew of bots there available. For me at the moment to go out and play, and I'm good with about 5 of them. I am very good with 5 of them, though, in fairness. But so learning the bots is absolutely crucial, and I think that's where the depth comes in, and that's where the progression comes in from players which are new to gaming. They just want they just want Transformers. They'll get that, come in, and then obviously the skill separation system just means that you're not going to be fighting the people that have been playing it for a year. If you've just started playing, you're coming in and you're hitting people at the same level of skill that you are. So if you're just bumbling around shooting at walls and things, you're going to be playing against people at the same level and same type of enjoyment level that you want to be playing at. So I think hopefully that will give everybody what they're looking for.
How have you guys found developing with the Unity engine?
I think Unity has given us a really good platform to to build on and to expand our player base as well. The reason we switched away from sort of Java was largely because sort of Java has sort of gone into a bit of a critical decline over the last 2 years or so. That's one of the reasons for for the fact that we've been doing this for a little bit longer than everybody expected us to be doing it for. Obviously switching to a new platform, Jagex has been reliant on Java for the last sort of 10-15 years. It's RuneScape relies on it, and RuneScape still pays everybody's salaries, or most people's salaries at Jagex. So Unity has been a really good challenge for everybody. We've had lots of people in and lots of support from those guys as well for sort of changing over back-end server infrastructure and stuff like that I don't really understand. But I think it's been a success so far, and I think into the future again, if we're given the ability to expand development-wise, then we can be looking at using the Unity engine to to grow and expand into other markets potentially. So it's good.
What's the roadmap now? Now we've done this, now you've showed it to people, you've got the closed testing. What's the roadmap between now and the rest of the year?
Okay, so as far as we're concerned, we're still in closed beta, so we're sending out invites for that all the time, and obviously we want as many sign-ups as possible. We want people through the doors, and then we'll be looking at sort of opening up the beta to a wider audience, and then we'll be looking at a sort of a launch later on in the year.
Okay, it's a free-to-play browser game, but you said during the presentation that you're not having to pay to win or pay to power through. So where's the money coming from?
Okay, so there's actually quite a nice bit here. Obviously, Jagex has got a nice history with RuneScape of doing free-to-play well, hopefully. It's lasted 15 years, so we must have been doing something right. And we're taking those learnings sort of into Transformers. So we've got an expanding roster of bots for everybody to play. And we're looking at people wanting to buy these. Obviously, we've spent a lot of time, a lot of effort with Hasbro, with our guys, creating these unique bots with a lot of personality and hopefully a large amount of aspirational value as well. So we want people to come in and see these guys and buy them, essentially. So at the same time, you can come in if you've got a lot of time on your hands. Like I had 5-10 years ago. Just being able to jump in, wanting to get stuff for free, or you haven't got a lot of money, then you can go in, play the game over a decent period of time, and and you can earn these guys for free. Just coming in, the only thing we need from you is for you to be on our servers, populating the world for everybody else to play in. So that's where we're looking at getting cash back. There are also consumables and boosters and vanity items and things like that, but all of the things that you can buy, you can earn either through rewards or drops or crafting as well. You can get all this stuff. So if you've got the time, we want you in there, we want you playing. If you haven't got the time and you still want to play, you still want to play the latest bots and stuff, then obviously we want you to stick your hand in your pocket, which is I think a decent and fair model.
So you'll have a default set of characters to start off with, and then they'll fulfill each class, and then there'll be extra characters beyond that people can buy?
Sure. So it doesn't work quite like that. So basically we're going to give away a couple of 3 starter bots for people to sort of get in and feel. They're a little bit simpler as far as the abilities and stuff is concerned, to ease people in. At that point, the rest of all of the classes and things, because we've got a lot of hybrids and things in there, so we've got, for the starter bots, you've covered the main 3. You've got your guy that's a bit tanky, you've got your guy that's got a bit DPS, and got a guy that's a healer. So you've got your 3 main bases covered there. And then over time, then we're just expecting people to be playing through. And then there's a lot of information in the front end about what these bots are, what they do, the ability to compare them to one another. So at that point, we're not dictating that you pick one class or another. You either earn a particular one, whether or not you just like the way they look or you like the way your abilities. You can either buy them, you can come in and buy all of the bots in one go if you really want to. That's fine. We're not going to have a problem with that. But these guys need learning. So we probably say that you want to spend a significant amount of time with these guys to properly get into it.
Is that how the energon plays in? I know you mentioned it during the presentation, but didn't get really into it in much detail. Is that going to be the XP collection or within the game? How does it work?
Okay, so as far as the energon is concerned, you're looking at downing terracons, or there's other activities in the outer base that you can get into to sort out with energon. Energon's used for a variety of things. One of the things that you can use it for is for reviving a bot after you've been downed, and you can also use it for crafting items and things like that, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But no, there's a reward system for playing the game modes, whether it's PvP or player versus AI, and it's that reward system which gives you the currency that you need to buy bots or consumables or anything like that.
Just sort of touch upon, you said about the customization, about the extra customization options. In the presentation we saw you can just color coordinate your bots. Will that be the length of the customization, or will there be something more deeper than that?
Okay, so as far as the visual customization is concerned, like the stuff you saw is essentially just color tinting, things like paint jobs and changing meshes and things that we're looking at to come into the future. But as far as sort of stats changing around and things like that, as you progress through as a commander, then you start earning points that you can use to tweak whether or not somebody has more health, or more damage ability in a certain area, or more healing, or drives faster in vehicle mode, all of that kind of stuff. And then the power cores is a big area that we sort of come back to. Unlocking power core slots is really a big differentiator for bots. So that's where your level can affect what you're able to do as a bot, and that's a huge element of customization for us.
Well, listen, thank you very much. In fact, one question I should have asked this actually. It's an obvious question: Autobot or Decepticon?
Oh, it's very much Autobot. Okay, but at the same time, it's not quite, we're not quite the Bumblebee sort of, Goldilocks kind of Autobot. My favorite guy's Mirage, which is, he's able to go invisible and just a little bit of a sabotage guy. So he's got a little bit of a dark side as well. But Autobots all the way.
Playing on the grey. Fine. Listen, thank you very much indeed for taking the time to talk to us.
No problem at all. Thank you.